Yeah, this is an interesting turn of events. So I think,
Well, it's
obviously
kind of
first and foremost,
expected, but I
well,
wasn't
so
expecting this much, like the quantity, I guess, that we got out of it. But we'll,
yeah,
we'll get into it.
well, exactly, yeah, that we will, and that will take us off right now to our first topic, which is James Gunn and the DC slate. DC Studios. He has announced that he did this big sort of 6 minute, 5 minute, whatever it is, presentation. Paulie actually hasn't seen it, so we're going to watch it all together as a group before we start to talk about it and dissect it. So, Paulie, let's sort of, we'll obviously play it for your benefit as
All
well.
right, appreciate it.
But yeah, Tom, let's check this out. Any second now, Tom, mate.
Hey, everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is a big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it, and Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And it brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure.
So, thoughts first, Paulie.
A couple things for me. I'm kind of interested in, but then I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. So well, it sounds like how he's framed it, right? Is that Shazam's staying in the DCU? Aquaman is staying in the DCU. The Flash is staying in the DCU because they say they lead off. They do this. They do that. But then we have our premiere.
No, it's not quite how he worded it. See, here's where the thing is. He said those are the things we have to finish off, and then he says what kicks off my DCU is like this one series, and then he talks about the Amanda Waller series, right? And then he talks about Superman, which there he says something very interesting just before he talks about Superman. And this is what I found very interesting about that. Now listen to his wording here.
That's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is a big one, the true beginning of the DCU.
The true beginning of the DCU. That's what I picked up on.
This is called Superman Legacy.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay.
But he brought up before that whole thing about Elseworlds and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think. Well, he talks about what was it? What was the first group called?
I think it was that cartoon, animated thing.
Cartoon. So that was.
There's a lot of ho hum for me. There's a lot of ho hum from it because I'm coming this as pretty much a normie with DC Comics. So a couple things I'm excited about. I just have a lot of questions. A lot of things. There's a few of these I just like really don't care. Booster Gold is really cool. Obviously, Superman.
That'd be Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's what everybody's thinking.
That'll be a lot of fun. And then if we can get Booster and Jaime Reyes together in the future, that would be dope. What was the other thing I was mildly interested in? I think it was towards the end. But a lot of questions, a lot of stuff, Tom. I'm just like, don't really care about
the Authority. I reckon.
Well, the Lanterns was okay.
Well, so there's a lot that's actually just taken from what was previously being in development. Anyway, Lanterns was.
The last, yes, obviously Swamp Thing. That's why I referred to Tom because I thought of Tom here with the Swamp Thing and the horror element. That could be really, really cool. I think they're bumping that one up because Marvel did so well with Werewolf by Night. They're going to repeat the horror of the year, horror film. They're going to do another one for Halloween coming up this year again because Werewolf by Night was so successful. I think that's really cool, really cool. My question was Supergirl. I don't know if Tom had anything to say about Swamp Thing.
I quite like that idea.
Swamp Thing is one of the things I'm not too worried about. Like, there's basically two huge red flags in this whole thing outside of the debate that we just got into. And that's where I feel like a lot of people are going to be curious about is because I hear a lot of political talk in what James said here. It sounds like a lot of the stuff he was saying online, right? Like, because he doesn't want to poo-poo any of the stuff that's coming out because, they want people to still go see it.
Oh, that's true.
And there's still things that were in development before James Gunn ever even was president, like the Amanda Waller series. And I think that super secret series that he was talking about was that one the first one he mentioned with that has his Weasel guy from this one here, the Creature Commandos. See, I think this was his secret project he was talking about before he ever became president. So
yeah,
I think
that's done, isn't it? So that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a clear separation between all the stuff that still has to come out. These things here, the Amanda Waller series, his second season of Peacemaker, and I think that the true DCU starts, as he says, on July 11th, 2025, with the release of Superman Legacy. Because from there on out, we get a new Superman, we get a new Green Lantern Corps. We get this group here, which this is the project, the Authority. I think this is the one James Gunn's going to direct, because this is like right up his alley, kind of.
Well, this to me screams DC's attempt at The Boys, right? Like, you listen to what they said about it. Well, it literally is what he's saying. Like, it's as a group of superheroes, I think the world is, broken, and they're going to fix it by any means that they feel, that they want to do it by. So it's definitely, superheroes gone astray. I mean, it's Invincible, it's The Boys, it's that same old.
Well, and I think he's going to direct it simply because he said it was a passion project of his. And from what I know of this, I don't know a lot, but from what I know, it'll kind of fit in his, kind of holster or whatever you want to call it. And then you got the Themyscira, a Paradise Lost series.
This sounds terrible. Game of Thrones, Westeros, but on Themyscira with Wonder Woman, Amazonians. I don't
think Wonder Woman's going to be in it, but I think it's going to be laying the groundwork for the new Wonder Woman, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because as you notice, we get a new Superman, we got Wonder Woman here, and then of course this is the biggest red flag of them all for me, besides the other one.
Let's still talk about this Paradise thing.
If you want to, sure.
It called? Paradise Lost. I don't know, like, to me, that's it. I mean, budgetary constraints and things like that. Like, what are you going to do? Like, TV live action. It's like an HBO Max thing. I
think you got to key in on the Game of Thrones aspect. They're going to try and go for that audience. I think it's going to be a bit more adult oriented.
But it's the same audience, though. They're cannibalizing themselves.
That's a good point.
Max.
And same audience, same channel.
They want to pull in that kind of audience with the DC universe, though, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about business, like,
I'm not giving it a pass. I'm just saying that.
No, I know, but it's a conversation, isn't it? Like, you're saying that, I agree, but that's dumb. Like, if that is the case, because you got to diversify content to get new subscribers. You're making the same type of content for the same people. Like, sure, you'll keep them, but you're not going to grow your audience. I don't know. I just think it sounds crap. But you are right, I think, Tom. Like, I think that will be how they introduce people. Wonder Woman. And then, you were saying about Batman.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
This one makes me worry for many reasons. First of all, the Brave and the Bold. I'm not a big fan of multiple Robins. We've already had. I can see why they came to this conclusion, because they're like, okay, we've had old.
How?
They probably sat down and said, look, we've already had older Batman with Ben Affleck. That didn't quite work. We got the young Batman going right now with Pattinson. That's working in whatever way it's working. We need to go the middle ground. So they went the middle ground with this, but I think they went at it the wrong way. If I would have done it, and this is just my personal opinion, I could be wrong on this, but this to me is the first red flag here. Because to do this, you're going to have like a late 30s, early 40s or better Batman.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah, I would have just started it with like year 3 or 4 Batman with the regular Robin. We've never had regular Robin get his just due. Even in Batman Forever, it was technically Nightwing, right? Like, I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never had Robin. So, like, jumping to this is kind of red flag.
But it also flies in the face of what they said previously, is that Dave Bautista came out and was like, I'll speak to James Gunn. Yeah, he wants younger and fresher. What's younger and fresher about? Like, also, Damian Wayne is a terrible Robin. I hate Damian Wayne. He's an awful character. I understand that he's meant to be that way, but he's not that interesting either. And then as part of that, you've got to introduce quite a large element in one movie. So you've got to introduce Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, the League of Shadows. You've got to introduce all of that on top of Damian Wayne himself and the dynamic between the two of them. There's quite a lot. Like, and
well, it's kind of some of the mistakes Marvel's been making, right? By bypassing years and years of very important groundwork and story arcs to jump to new modern stuff, right? So this to me is, like I said, the first big red flag is this right here. I don't know if you agree, Paulie, but
the red flag. Only because it's kind of just the whole Batman thing is just so confusing. Like, how many Batmans are there right now?
And then he said Bat Family on top of it. So
there's Reeve, right?
Well,
there's Keaton. Is Affleck still going to be showing up at all, or is he out?
No, this is all completely this is renew, and nothing from the previous thing will stand in this new one. Basically, this is all brand new stuff.
That's what I'm thinking. At least, again, I may not be right, but I think that's why he said that with Superman starts the actual DCU, basically.
So it's like, okay, gotcha, yeah. So basically, you got to get through a year of stuff that's already been done, and then this is my stuff, basically saying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see anything Batman. I don't know,
But I think one of the positives is he says the Bat family, and so if you are jumping forward with Damian Wayne, then yeah, you could have Nightwing. I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, you have Nightwing and all the other established Batgirl and whoever else you want to bring in, I guess. But I'm not a big fan of that anyway. To me, Batman works best with like Batman, Robin, and maybe one other. Catwoman usually can sit in as a third, or
I like Catwoman. I don't like the wider Bat
yeah. Once you take it beyond that, to me it gets too weird because like, isn't Batman supposed to be like this kind of like on his own kind of character? Like. Yeah, it just doesn't kind of work.
Well, it's not just that; it's also like it just dilutes it down. I don't know. I'm not a huge. I just don't like Damian Wayne as a character. He's just not that interesting.
I'll be honest with you. I think the whole Bat Family idea. Yeah, there's that too, but I think the whole Bat Family idea is what influenced the CW into this idea that everything had to have like a crew for their hero. Did you notice that? Like,
yeah, that's true.
And to me, it kind of started with Batman in that sense. It's like he doesn't need a crew.
No, the only interesting element of what I would consider the only interesting expansion to Batman was Batman Beyond and having Terry McGinnis. That was a fantastic character. It's not like the Bat Family, but kind of technically was because it was kind of like a clone of Bruce Wayne anyway. But like that was interesting. That was the only interesting expansion to Batman proper. I really liked that. Rather than having the sort of Bat Family outwards, that was a good. Yeah, kept it sort of still at its core, but you also worked alongside Bruce Wayne. That was good. I like Batman Beyond a lot. Anyway, what was the next one? Was it Booster Gold or something? Like Booster Gold, I think could be good fun. We know that's probably
Booster
Gold.
Yeah,
probably that's going to be Chris Pratt. Of course.
Here was Red Flag number 2 because of course Tom King, and
so that's bad. That's not good. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you have anything to say about Booster Gold before we move on to Supergirl?
No, I already remember I talked about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, sorry about that.
But yeah, I have some thoughts on Supergirl.
Go.
Who's super? Is it still going to be Sasha Calle's Supergirl because they're keeping her in the Flash?
Well, so that's interesting.
So. Maybe.
Well,
but I doubt it.
Well, so this is the thing: is that the way he's explaining that character, right? This jaded person. That's how she was explained to me in the leaks for the Flash. So they could, from what I've heard of that character, anyway. So they could do it. I don't think they will, but they could do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I didn't even really think of that, Paulie, to be honest with you.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is because the Flash is coming really soon, and she's in it a lot, and
but she was also in the Batgirl they shit can too, wasn't she?
I think she. I don't know how much of Batgirl she was in, but I think they were scrubbing Batgirl a lot for other different reasons, but I'm confused, as to what iteration of this is of Supergirl is this going to be. That's all.
Well, I would imagine that movie will set the record
Mhm.
straight. I would imagine, but we'll see. What was the next one on this list?
I do want to say that, did he mention any stars
Swamp
by
Thing.
name?
No, there's been no. That's the
No
thing, is there's
casting.
been no casting yet.
Mhm.
He's still
Right,
writing
so-
Superman and stuff, so they haven't even got close to casting in that yet.
Yeah.
So, you know,
No,
it might
no
be a different Supergirl because he didn't even mention Sasha Calle.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't know.
It could be a lot
I
of
totally
nothing.
spaced out that she was in fucking Flash though until you said it, Paulie. That was the thing. I didn't even think about that.
Well, yeah, because
she
we've
like
been
a
so
he.
like preoccupied when you think of Flash.
Exactly.
You
She's
didn't
like the
catch that
last
one,
thing
did
on
we?
the plate. Yeah, we didn't. I didn't hear you either, Nate.
Ah, goddamn! I said because she looks like a he. That's why.
Oh,
Well, you forgot that she was
Oh.
in it. She does look like a he in that bloody film.
Oh.
Come on.
yeah.
They absolutely
Unfortunately,
butchered
they
her
did
looks.
not do her any
They
favors. That's for
uglified
sure.
her. I will not take any nonsense on that. She was uglified. They Hollywood wrecked her.
Uglified.
They did.
Funny.
They Hollywood wrecked her like they do with any bloody attractive woman nowadays.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I don't know. I actually don't know what she looks like normally, but they
No, from what
definitely.
I've seen from normal pictures, she looks very beautiful. They did
No, I don't
hug
know.
her up.
No,
a
they.
bit, yeah.
But she's gone with the whole androgynous look of late. So she, you know, I don't know what's going on there, but that's a
Yeah.
whole nother.
And then we
Anyway,
had Swamp
another
Thing, which I
thing.
think we kind of covered a little bit already. But yeah, this is
Well-
one I have probably the least worry about, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
What
I
about
haven't
getting
given my
John
thoughts on
Carpenter
that.
back to direct it?
No.
Mm,
No. Look, so just to give my
was he
thoughts
meant
on
to direct
something-
one at one point?
Just to give my
Didn't he direct the first one?
No, you're thinking of Wes Craven.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So just to give my thoughts on Swamp Thing as a whole, I think really good, happy. I think that's the most positive out of the whole thing. I think Swamp Thing has strong potential to be very, very good. Talking about getting the likes of John Carpenter on board, for instance. Unfortunately, he is like for directing, spending like 3-4 months on a set. Like he's getting on a bit for that. So, he's a legend, but I don't think I'd direct.
I think in a recent interview he said something like he's not totally done with directing, but I think you're right. It would have to be a very personal project for him to commit that much time to a movie.
Absolutely.